All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Arizona State Board of Pharmacy meeting. Today's the complaint committee. The date is December the 2nd. The time is 1 p.m. I will call the meeting to order. Dr. Gandhi, if you can do roll call and conflicts of interest, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Park?
Present. I have recusal on 4T and 4Z. And then also not a recusal, but want to disclose for the record on 4E, one of the respondents, Andrea Daniels, is a known individual to me. We are acquaintances that used to work together at Fry's, but this would have no impact on my ability to participate.
Thank you. Mr. Nassif?
Here with no conflict.
Ms. Walmsley?
Present, mine have been submitted, and I'll call them out as we go along the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Thorwald?
Here, no conflicts.
All accounted for, Madam Chair.
All right, let's jump into the agenda. Complaint 4A, complaint number 23-0367. A prescription was filled with the incorrect medication. Thoughts or discussion on this one?
I just look at this as a human error. So I believe from my perspective, we can go with our standard, dismiss the permit holder and 3-hour CE non-disciplinary for the pharmacist and the technician.
I would also like to comment that I was really happy with the remedial actions made by both the pharmacist and the individual team members. I think both the team members have actually already completed the CE. So I would like to note for the record that if that's the direction that we go, that we should allow those to be counted.
Yeah, I add this to my recommendation or to my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4B, complaint 25-0491. Respondent filled prescriptions that the provider had denied refills with. Thoughts or discussion on this one?
It's an error, right? It's an error. Doctor deny it, and it's there in the fax sheet or in the sheets is denied. I see how that can be easy overlooked, but still an error. So I will move the same, our standard, dismiss the permit holder and 3 hours of CE non-disciplinary for pharmacists. Unless somebody else has any comment or different view.
I agree with your comments.
So I'm making my motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
May I have the type of CE, please?
It is for error prevention or patient safety, one or the other.
And I think he already completed the CE too, so I would note that that should be allowed to be completed
Yeah,
to be counted.
I missed it. Yeah, I will add to my motion if that okay with the group.
I'm good with it.
Thank you. Is that the same type of CE in 4A, medication
Yeah.
error prevention?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4C, complaint number 25-0418. The complainant stated that his prescription was filled for 3 milliliter per vial 4 times a day for 90 days. And that the prescription was shorted and the pharmacy only shipped 270 vials, even when the provider increased his prescription to every 4 hours or 6 vials per day for a 90-day supply.
I was looking at this. I mean, this is in the Ohio location, right? And then the pharmacist is pharmacist in Ohio. I mean, what I recommend, but I'm thinking to refer this to state of Ohio and they can look into it. I don't know if we can take action here on this.
That was my same comments, Tariq, was
Mhm.
I feel like this was a
Ohio
poor,
Yes. license number?
It is.
It's not even a license.
Sorry.
what was that,
Go ahead, Nancy.
Nancy?
This is Nancy Chang, compliant officer. Yes, the pharmacist involved here has the Ohio license. He is a non-Arizona licensed pharmacist, but the pharmacy is a non-resident pharmacy.
My thought is this was a poor decision by this pharmacist, not necessarily based on the standard operating procedures of the company. So my thought was to dismiss the pharmacy and refer to the Ohio board.
I agree.
The only comment, Madam Chair, is looks like the patient is an Arizona patient that was affected. So I don't know if the Ohio board can do anything when Ohioan wasn't impacted. Most states have a restriction. Some states have restrictions on who they can take action against.
That doesn't change my thought process, but I appreciate that, Cam. I don't know how the pharmacy could have prevented the pharmacist from making the decision that they made.
To me, I mean, like, as a permit holder, it is more likely it's individual decision. It is not the permit holder. And that's why I don't think we can, I mean, usually we dismiss permit holder if it's nothing like about really tied to them, right? So that's why I would say it's appropriate to, I don't know if we can dismiss it here or just refer it to Ohio.
It would be a recommendation to the full board, whether to dismiss the pharmacy and refer the pharmacist to Ohio.
Pharmacist in Ohio, does Arizona have any ability to do anything other than the referral?
Not for the pharmacist that doesn't hold a license with us.
And there's not a lot of options.
Thoughts on a motion, guys?
I'll move that we refer it to Ohio. And
And what
drop the anything against the pharmacy. Let me rephrase that. We drop anything related to the pharmacy itself and refer the pharmacist issues to Ohio.
So dismiss the pharmacy and refer the pharmacist to the Ohio board.
Correct. I didn't say that right. It's one of those days.
I knew what you meant. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I am recused from item 4D. So if somebody can lead that. Tariq, you want to do them?
Yeah, I can do this. So we have case number 250409 for D. Patient received the wrong medication. Any discussion here?
I mean,
I have-
this was a what, like a return to stock. But, you know, I mean, it's a
Yeah, I mean, like, what I'm not sure, I don't know if compliance officer, if Mr. Jacobson can help me here. Was it a wrong medication totally, or just different NDC or different manufacturer?
Yes, sir, Mr. Al-Nasif. It was the wrong medication. There were two different pills inside the bottle. In this case, it looked like the medication was dispensed from the Uyama machine. And the responses that I got from the pharmacy staff all sort of revolved around the filling of that Uyama machine, alleging that whoever filled that Uyama machine filled it with the wrong medication. And therefore, when the Uyama dispensed this prescription, it had some of the wrong tablets mixed in with it. However, the pharmacist that filled the Uyama machine is not the pharmacist that did the final verification of this product. So the pharmacist that did the final verification is the one that I wrote the violation for. And the pharmacist that filled the Uyama, I just put a unprofessional conduct because they possibly violated policy by filling the Uyama.
Which they denied.
Correct, which they denied. That pharmacist did deny it. I included the video evidence, but it's really hard to see anything, that'll determine what happened.
And this and what was part of this was the possibility or the alleged of a return to stock bottle that
Correct.
was returned. And
Correct.
then
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that it was a return to stock bottle that was returned to the Uyama machine, and Walgreens in general doesn't return to stock medications to the automated dispensing device to be redispensed. So the pharmacist that returned those pills to the machine was in violation of a store policy, but the pharmacist that did the final verification is responsible for the medication that's leaving the pharmacy.
okay, yeah, that's how I read that there's a clear policy and procedure in place, but it was they really don't know what transpired with that. But it was regardless of an error of the incorrect medication dispensed.
Yep. So the pharmacist involved in the Uyama machine denied the involvement. Is that right?
Correct. He did say that he manipulated the machine to sort of bypass a problem they were having in the machine. That's why his name is on the replenishment reports. However, in his narrative, he says that he did not return any pills to that machine, any tablets to that machine. So he denies putting the wrong medication in the machine.
And we don't have some evidence, right, to support his involvement.
Correct. The evidence is the replenishment logs that have his name on it that say he did interact with the machine on that date, and the video evidence that shows him interacting with the machine, but there was just not the level of detail that we could tell in the video what exactly was going on.
So he could be telling the truth, and we have no absolute verification that he did anything. So I don't know how we can come back on him. It's like he said, she said type of thing in my mind.
Yep. So anyone has a motion for this?
I mean, my recommendation would be for non-disciplinary CE for the verification pharmacist. In error prevention, dismiss against the other pharmacist, and dismiss the permit holder.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Tariq. Item 4E, complaint number 25-0092, a pharmacy incorrectly compounded and tested ketamine patches on an employee. I would like to disclose for the record that one of the pharmacists named as the respondent and one of the pharmacists that was listed in the narrative have both worked for me in the past. It will not predispose my decision, and it won't impact my ability to react on the case, but I do want to disclose that for the record.
And
Um,
also too, just a reminder on the disclosure for this as well. One of the respondents I also worked with in the past.
thoughts on this one? This one was certainly an interesting case to read.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anyone would like to start, but
Go ahead.
I have some comments here.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, there's a lot of information to read, and then it took me a few days just going back and forth. Anyway, so the first thing I have noticed that when California, if you go to page, I believe 273, when California Board of Pharmacy replied, they listed a pharmacist that licensed in Arizona. They named that pharmacist, but I don't see that pharmacist listed.
Yes, that was one of the individuals that worked for me in the past.
So this is just like, I don't know if Mr. Jacobson have any information about this.
Yeah, Mr. Al-Nassif, I've got a ton of information on this case. I've really put a lot of time into this one.
Yeah,
I asked for responses from all of the employees that were involved. And that pharmacist, Mr. Kocher, didn't reply as that he was involved. And in fact, none of the other replies that I got from the pharmacy staff indicated that he was part of it. So I didn't know that he was part of it until the California Board of Pharmacy Inspector told us this information. And this came in fairly late. I mean, this is November 7th of this year. So this information came in pretty late.
yeah. So this is what I like to verify. I don't know, like so did we reach out to this pharmacist, Mr. Jacobson? And we asked him if he just to.
No, I have not reached out to him to get a response or added him as a respondent yet. I think that is a possibility and probably a good next move if this case moves forward.
And the second note I have here that the whole discussion about trial and ketamine and took place based on the complaint that between the employee or the individual and the leadership. And then I have not seen any discussion between the pharmacist in this pharmacy and the employee as a patient. There's a lot of misinformation here to me. And then on page, let me read here, 238, I believe it shows that the technician who was just basically getting training there shipped patches and medication. Are they like separate shipment?
I believe that was one shipment where she shipped the package, the patches, the ketamine patches they had just compounded, and the leftover freebase ketamine. They shipped that back to Arizona.
Yeah.
For what purpose, I don't know. As soon as the PIC here in Arizona received that freebase ketamine, he damaged it out, quarantined it, and got it out of the supply chain. But the technician in this case really kind of took it on herself, saying, I did this a lot on my own. However, through my investigation, it was really apparent that the senior leadership was involved in, setting this project up and getting everything going. So there's, in my opinion, there's no way this technician acted alone or, really even could have got these ketamine patches going without the leadership of the pharmacy.
Yeah. To your point, like I see, like, because let's say a mistake, she made a mistake, she shipped the patches, but she said she pitched also the freebase as well, right? So that make it more difficult for me to determine what's happened. So I leave it for the rest. So that's a couple of questions I had.
Stephanie, Frank, thoughts?
There is a lot to this one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree
uh,
with Tariq. I read it and reread it, reread
Yep.
it. Probably need to reread it again before next week, but there's a lot here.
there is, and I just, I feel like, yeah, just talking about the technician, one other comment on that is, just in the investigation, the notes of leaving, the ketamine patches in the office for others to use. And so it indicates to me that there's maybe something a lot more broader that's going on. So there's just a lot of different layers to this that it's a lot to unpack.
I kind of feel like in terms of what we have here, I almost would like to talk to the individuals. I know there's a lot of people named here, but I kind of feel like a complaint is warranted. I think I left this with a lot more questions than I had answers, regardless of the amount of time I'm sure Mr. Jacobson has spent doing the investigation and putting together the write-up. It was very thorough, but I still have a lot of questions into my head. That I don't know that I have all the answers to.
I would just like to add one more thing. The location in San Diego, Mr. Jacobson, are they licensed in the state of Arizona?
Yes, sir. The Strive Pharmacy in San Diego is licensed, is permitted in Arizona.
And basically they allowed non-licensed technician to work there.
And an unlicensed pharmacist, it sounds like.
I believe it's appropriate to open a complaint against that.
So we did refer this to the California Board of Pharmacy if that's where you were going.
Yeah, but can
Is
we?
the complaint,
Yeah.
the complaint that's before us here on the
Gilbert facility.
Gilbert facility and not both of them, just the Gilbert one?
Yes.
For now, yes.
Correct. For us, it's the Gilbert facility. Correct.
Yeah, and we are, like Mr. Jacobson said, we are working with California, and since the facility in California is permitted with us, it is on our radar to keep track of, and there is a joint investigation with California, and
So
we'll
Dr.
act
Gandhi,
accordingly. Yeah, we'll act accordingly after that's concluded.
So can we open a complaint now before they finish the investigation? For the
If
facility?
if that's your recommendation, we can.
I believe I mean, I'm sure we're gonna go for conference, but it would be it would be to make it faster, the process. I mean, I recommend to open a complaint for the San Diego facility. Since they
So-
have,
Mr. Al-Nassif, can I, or would you recommend adding that pharmacist and the Strive San Diego as respondents on this complaint?
yeah,
Is that
yes,
the idea?
Yes.
I think we can do that before the February board meeting.
And my recommendation, in addition to this, just to move for conference, I don't think we can accomplish anything discussing this.
I second that.
I'm supportive of that. So if that's both of your motion and second,
Yeah, this is my,
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4F, complaint 25-0544. A pharmacy knowingly provided prescription medication to a provider that was selling them over the counter. Another very interesting case with a lot of
information.
information.
So just, I don't know. Okay, so this is big to me, right? And the Attorney General was involved with this case, which I like to see. So when pharmacy ship medication to a doctor's office, specific patient label, how did they get paid? I mean, I don't know. Is it like there's an arrangement between the provider and this compounding pharmacy?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. And
I
that's,
mean, to me, it was hard to tell if the pharmacy knew that this was occurring. There was at least an employee based on the text messages that knew that this was happening. That they were selling prescriptions to either fictitious patients or to somebody that was being relabeled and without a prescription. But I couldn't tell if the pharmacy knew. Who
So,
was
Madam,
yeah,
Madam
go
Chair, if I
ahead.
could direct your attention to page 409 in your board book, gives you a little timeline of when the pharmacy, any employee at the pharmacy first knew was on February 3rd. And it wasn't until March 12th until they ceased providing pharmacy services for that provider.
And this text that was on 213, this was like a sales rep.
Correct. Bailey is like a sales rep from what I understand. Yep. Not licensed with this board.
But the PIC purports that they didn't know this was happening.
So it's interesting. They received the whistleblower email. So their compliance department knew about it. And they put measures in to investigate or to mitigate or whatever they were thinking. They did some prescription audits and that sort of stuff. And then, like I was saying, finally ceased providing pharmacy services just over a month later, about 5 weeks later.
Hey, Mr. Jacobson, can you describe the type of audit they did?
Yeah, I reached out to the PIC to find out what type of audit they did. And really, it was just a bench audit. All they were doing is looking at patient profiles to make sure that there were prescriptions. They looked in some cases to see if the patient had the prescription before. They looked to see if they were valid addresses. But they never called the patient or reached out to the patient directly to really determine if these were legitimate prescriptions.
I think this is another one that we probably need to hear from the people and ask some more questions.
And is it possible to ask for the arrangement between the pharmacy and the doctor's office? 'Cause I'm sure there is agreement, there's a sales rep involved there. And is it possible to ask?
I can certainly request it if that's something you'd be interested in, and you're looking for the financial arrangement.
The financial arrangement.
Okay, I can request that.
If you can subpoena.
Yeah, we may want to subpoena that, Mr. Jacobson.
So do you want, do
Yes,
we
sir.
need a question for this, Dr. Gandhi?
Or did you have a motion?
Yeah, I move, so I have two motions. The first one, I move to subpoena the financial arrangement between permit holder and the provider's office. That's my first motion.
And would that include any relevant invoices?
Yeah, anything like any financial arrangement and invoices.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So you said you had a second motion?
My second motion just move for conference.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 4G, complaint number 25-0299. The complainant provided a written request for the full board to review the executive director's decision to take no action on the complaint. The complainant alleged that the non-resident pharmacy filled prescription injections which caused necrosis and may have filled inappropriate prescriptions from prescribers.
So
Lots of discussion on that one.
yeah, there's a lot of back and forth between employees there. That's what I see. But I don't see any evidence that the permit holder or the pharmacy that done anything like violate the law or errors. I didn't see anything, so I support the dismissing from my end.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay. So I make it my motion. I move to dismiss.
Have a second?
I believe the motion would be to uphold the executive director's dismissal.
Yep, this is my motion. Uphold the executive dismissal.
I
Second.
second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Item 4H, complaint number 25-0469. A refill prescription was dispensed with the correct label and placed on an incorrect unit of use container. Thoughts on this one?
Same here, like it's typical human error. I mean, I don't see anything else more than like human error. So I would say like our standard dismiss the permit holder and 3 hours non-disciplinary CE for error prevention or safety, patient safety for the pharmacist and technician.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4I, complaint 25-0555. The complainant alleged that the pharmacy switched the requested next spike with Spikevax vaccine without his approval. Thoughts on this one?
My notes here say to listen to other board members.
I mean, I guess I could see how this different product selection would happen. I mean, it's not, I would say, typical that you would have a patient requesting a specific brand. I mean, maybe with this particular type of vaccine, but I mean, both are
Interchangeable.
FDA approved for
Mhm.
the patient, and perhaps there should have been, I didn't see if they maybe some consultation on the product that was being given, and but that's, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. At most I would think it would be, and I don't even know if CE would be really helpful in this situation. I don't see a true error other than it wasn't what the patient had made an appointment for.
Right. Because they are interchangeable vaccines. I look at it like somebody preferred one generic manufacturer over another. It's not a dispensing error. Now, granted, this product, I understand, patients may have some sensitivity around one manufacturer versus another, but I don't really see it as a valid error. My thought, if we did anything, I don't know. I don't even know if CE is warranted. I mean, there definitely could have been better communication to the patient, and should have been better communication with the patient, but I don't know that I feel like it's an error. Thoughts, anybody?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
go ahead, Tart.
No, I agree with both of you. Like I don't see an error happened here, right? So I don't think CE will help any in this situation. It is communication.
I agree with her, Chair. It's full communication.
I believe like dismissing for sure the permit holder, but I don't know if letter of concern will help here. for technicians and pharmacists. It's not a motion, I'm just like,
So what are you thinking? Dismiss it against everybody?
this or the other option, a letter of concern for pharmacists and technicians. But also there's no error, right? Because it's almost the same.
For me, yeah, I didn't see the error here. I think there could have been, it could have been handled differently with the patient as far as consultation. And I mean, for me, where I'm at is dismissing.
Like consider like, you know, some patients very specific about their vaccine, what the brand. I mean,
Some patients are specific about generic manufacturers too. And would we take action for something like that? Probably not. It's a preference.
Madam Chair, this is Ram Kalabudi,
Yeah.
Compliance Officer, investigated the complaint.
Yes, Ron.
So it is basically Menex Spike is advertised as more targeted, less dose, better tolerated. But superiority wise, the trial that they conducted was not powered for finding out the superiority of Menex Spike versus Spikevax. But because of the direct consumer advertising, people like to prefer that vaccine over the Spikevax. But there are operational advantages of Menex Spike compared to Spikevax, for the pharmacy. But efficacy wise, it's not different.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, everybody, what do you want to do with this one?
so Ram, when the patients select which vaccine they like to get, do they give them two options, right?
So the patient selected Menex Spike. While processing the prescription, the technician realized that they don't have Menex Spike in stock. So she switched to Spikevax. And pharmacist during the consultation missed date, during product data entry verification missed date, and the administration technician spoke to the patient, which vaccine are you expecting? And the patient said Moderna, kind of mentioned the manufacturer, but not the brand name. And
Yeah.
back in the day, it was known as Moderna vaccine, when it first started. And they named the vaccine as Spikevax afterwards. And then Menex Spike came into the market. So when you talk Moderna, usually people think that's Spikevax,
Yeah. But when the patients make appointment and they select the vaccine, they will have options for both, right? To select one or the other.
That's what I assume because that option was given on the portal for the vaccination. Patient specifically entered Menex Spike. It was shown on the vaccine administration record that patient chose Menex Spike. It was highlighted.
Does the pharmacist have visibility into
Yes.
what the appointment was selected for?
Yes. And she admitted that she missed it. It's on the vaccine administration record was on page 755. I put it in a bold red color, shows patient chose Menex Spike.
I can see your note, but I can't read where
Yeah,
it's highlighted.
Yeah, you have to select control and roll the, that mouse roller. It magnifies it. Control and then mouse roller back and forth.
Thoughts on this one, guys?
I mean, to me, it's not really a violation that the CE will benefit the individual. But really, it's good to bring attention that people to be a little bit more careful communicating with patients is important, right? And because we don't know why I mean, there's a reason why the patient picked this vaccine versus the other one. I understand the system glitch sometimes or automatically switch medications like brand to generic. So definitely I'm not looking for like 3-hour CE or non-disciplinary, but I believe dismiss the permit holder and a letter of concern will benefit. Just people just, I mean, you need to communicate with patients. I mean, again, this is not motion, but this is what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like, especially if the pharmacist or staff aware of the change, like they can see it. It's just kind of like a courtesy phone call to a patient or have a discussion when they come for their appointment. That's how I
agree
see
with-
it. Yeah.
I agree with Steve. If they want to have that, they could go somewhere else. But they should have that option. But that doesn't mean the pharmacist did anything wrong. It's just bad communication.
I agree with you, Frank.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think it should be dismissed.
Did we have a motion on the floor?
I make that a motion.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? A motion and a second to dismiss with everybody. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Item 4J, I am recused from. So Tariq, if you want to take it over.
Or J 25 -0470. Complainant received prescription for the incorrect person in the mail. Any discussion?
Board members, this is Compliance Officer Ben Castaneda.
Hi, Ben. Yeah.
I'm reviewing the packet that I put together for the board. I realized that the technician's response was not included, so I request that you move this to full board review so I have a chance to get you the response.
Okay, that make it easy for us. Thank you. So I make it my motion, move to the full board review. Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Motion-
right, item 4K, complaint 24-0099. A pharmacist billed for test kits and then sent them to patients without their authorization. Thoughts on this one?
This is one of those cases. I read it maybe 10 times. Honestly, I need to talk to pharmacists to understand exactly what's happening. Me personally.
I agree with you because I don't feel like we ever really heard from the pharmacist. I feel like we heard from their attorney, and I would like to hear from them.
I agree.
So this is my motion. Move for conference.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next up, 4L, complaint 25-0472. Falsification of results and avoidance of investigations, failure to comply with GMP requirements. Mr. Hyber, I think you were the inspector on this.
Yes, that is correct.
In reading your narrative, am I correct in saying that you didn't find anything to really substantiate the claims
Correct. The
outside of the
claims-
FDA?
Correct. The reason I brought this before the board was twofold. One, I wanted to let the public record indicate that not substantiate any of the allegations. However,
We have a bit of an echo.
because we had
Rom, can you turn off your mic for me, please? I think we're getting feedback because you guys must be in the same room.
Sorry about that.
Steve, go ahead. Steve, you're muted now.
See, I was trying to help. Look
There
what
we go. That's much better. Okay, so go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. I brought this complaint before the board because I wanted it to become part of the public record. Number one, that the allegations were not substantiated. And number two, that this facility did have a 483 and indicate the responses, provide that to the board for their consideration. But again, my own inspection as well as the investigation portion did not substantiate any of those allegations that were put forth concerning the alteration of records and things of that nature, which were, on the surface, very serious.
Thank you, Mr. Hyber. Board members, discussion or questions for Mr. Hyber on this one?
This was anonymous, correct? And so we don't have really any other response from the complainant besides what was submitted in the complaint?
That is correct. It was anonymous, submitted to our agency as an anonymous one, and then a one that was virtually a copy of it. Plus, it included an email that was discussed within the complaint to us from the New Jersey Department of Consumer Affairs. But again, both of them were flagged as anonymous.
I would go for dismissal.
I would second, if that's your motion.
That's a motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4M, complaint number 25-0487. A complainant alleged that the pharmacy administered an incorrect immunization.
Yeah, it is an error, a medication error. So I will go with the standard, dismiss the permit holder since they're not involved, and ask pharmacists for 3 hours of CE related to error prevention or patient safety, non-disciplinary.
I agree. I would second that motion.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I will let you take over 4N, Tariq. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. 4N, complaint number 25-0421. A prescription was dispensed to the wrong patient. And I have a question here about this case that the pharmacist claimed that the mistake took place after verification. Can anyone elaborate there, or the patient maybe in the room there or online?
Committee members, this is Jennifer. We do have Mr. Torres in the room here if you have questions for him.
Yeah, I just like to hear what exactly, because I read his comments, but I like to hear like what exactly happened.
Hi, thank you. Yes, I was just checking prescriptions there. It was a busy day. There was two patients that were basically back to back. Each one had four prescriptions. One of the prescriptions was in common. It was a hydrocodone prescription. When I was checking it there, I saw hydrocodone on the vial label. I put it in the bag of the first patient there. I didn't know it was the second patient's hydrocodone prescription that I put in the bag until the following day, when the first patient came to me or told us that she got the other patient's prescription. So we went ahead or I went ahead and switched or gave her the proper prescription minus the tablets that she took from the first patient there. I checked for the first patient's prescription to make sure she got the right one. It looks like she got the right one. So there was one error made there. It was at the verification process that I did the mistake there when I was putting the prescriptions in the bags.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
You're welcome.
And this is Steve Hyber, Mr. Tariq. I can validate that based upon the data that we were able to obtain during the investigation. The prescriptions were both worked on within 3 minutes of each other. And the one that was the replacement for the incorrect prescription minus the tablets that were consumed was a label reprint process, in order to properly label it. And as you may be aware, that reprinting a label doesn't leave a record of that. But based upon everything that we saw, based upon conversations with the patient who received the wrong medication, we believe that the description by pharmacist Torres is accurate.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Mrs. Spark, Mr. Ward,
Yeah.
any?
This is an error, just much similar to what we've been talking about. So I would make a motion for non-disciplinary CE for error prevention and dismiss the permit holder.
Second that motion.
You have a motion and second. Sure, that you don't have opposed. Motion carry. Thank you very much.
I'm recused on the next one as well. You can do 4-0, please.
For 4-0, 25-0529, license failed to report charges within 10 working days. It's a typical like failing to report, right? So I was standard $250 for fine. Unless you see other concern there.
That's what I have noted. It seems pretty straightforward that it's a non-disclosure or failure to disclose.
Okay. So this is my motion, $250, fine.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carry.
Okay, we'll go to 4P, complaint 25-0428. A former employee alleges that the pharmacy requires monitoring and safety compliance. Mr. Hyber, I believe you were the compliance officer on this one, and if you could just make a commentary about what you found during your investigation.
Yeah, at a high level, thank you. At a high level, we found that most of the allegations were not substantiated. The individual who filed the complaint was there only one day. It was their initial day of training. And but we did find that the process used to compound the code blue preparations, while it did not conflict with current USP 797 requirements in regards to immediate use of compounded sterile products, we found that the pharmacy really did not have very clear policies, as is required in rule, for pharmacists that would be participating in a Code Blue. Their policies really only address nurses who were preparing compounds for immediate use. And as a rule, the pharmacy, we did an inspection of the pharmacy the day I was there, and the pharmacy did not perform any type of sterile compounding. It was only when a pharmacist was involved in a Code Blue event. So there really wasn't any issues as far as the small area within the pharmacy for compounding any non-sterile compounds, or with the case of doing reconstitutions. So basically, it was an issue involving some policies and procedures, and that was one of the portions of the complaints, was the pharmacy had inadequate policies and procedures.
Do you know if that's been corrected, Mr. Hyber?
It was not corrected as of the date that I prepared this based upon the responses. So if the board wishes, we could follow up and get that information. And if they were unable to provide it, then we could always circle back around to the board.
Now this policy, this question, for my knowledge, is it like should be facility policy, like involving nursing staff, or solo pharmacy policy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we can hold this against the pharmacy.
Well, in addition to the policy, they didn't have the record. They were just relying on the MAR, and that wasn't compliant with the compounding documentation that's specified in 410 either. So
Okay.
that was a second issue as well. I apologize, I left that out.
Thank you very much. No,
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
And I think it's left out simply because they didn't have a policy in order to require the pharmacist to ensure that they were following the compounding documentation and not just relying on the MAR.
Okay.
Thoughts on this one, everybody?
Everybody's quiet.
I mean, to me, it is really, I believe, I don't know how we can follow up with them to make sure they have our policies in place. To me, is important, right? So it's just like
Maybe
yeah.
Here's an idea. What if we do a letter of concern
Correct. That's what
regarding lack of policy, so that way if Steve goes back for his next inspection and it's not fixed, that we have something noted.
Correct.
But I feel confident knowing that there wasn't any violations and like
Correct.
the actual patient safety portion of it. I mean, yes, we need to make sure we have all the right documentation, but at least what they were doing wasn't unsafe from what Steve's investigation shows.
I totally agree, but I'm not sure you're gonna do it for the PIC or the permit holder. The letter of concern. To me, it has to go to the permit holder.
Permit holder.
Yeah, and dismiss the PIC, because I believe this is part of the permit holder as a facility to make sure they have the appropriate policies.
Steve Hyber here. Yeah, you are correct. This is one of the instances where both the PIC as well as the permit holder are spelled out their requirements in rule. I do know this permit holder is very exceptional in trying, true to their name, they're very good at providing us with information in response to the complaint, because this took a little while to investigate. So I'm sure that if we want them to provide additional policies, they'd be amenable to that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Thoughts on a motion?
Yeah, I would just, so I move for a letter of concern goes to the permit holder and dismiss the PIC. That's my motion.
And the letter of concern is for
Or like lack of adequate policies and procedures.
related to good compounding practices and
Yeah, I mean,
sterile pharmaceutical products.
And the documentation part, that's the critical one. They were relying on a MAR that leaves out many of the requirements that are required for simple compounding.
Yes. I'll
Oh.
second that. And we'll dismiss the pick.
Yes, that's part of my motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4Q, complaint 25-0515. Patient received a refilled medication containing the wrong strength of drug.
It's just like error, right? I don't know if anyone sees something else. It's a human error that took place by the clinician and the pharmacist.
Mr.
Caused by-
Hyper, I did have one question. Did the technician bypass the scanning of the product on this? I couldn't tell.
No, in fact, this is the one of the pharmacy chains that takes pictures of everything that's filled.
Uh-huh.
So if you go to page 1478,
The image is
Here's-
terrible though.
but they're oval, and the actual sulfamethoxazole, the lower, the single strength is
Mhm.
round. So it was a pretty easy one. But you are correct. The images that are retained are not as good as the images that the pharmacist will see in the store.
So the images that the pharmacist sees are better than
Yes.
what
Yes.
this appears. Because my thought was, as a pharmacist, I don't know that I would have checked that without asking to have the bottle handed to me, because you can't see the markings on there. But
Mhm.
if they're better in real time, that's good to know also.
Right, real time is in color. It's probably like a very quality, like a 4K
Okay.
image, and then now we're looking at like what, an old style TV image, and it's not as good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better, because I thought it was kind of almost a little bit reckless to check that without looking at the pills, but that makes me feel better to know that the images are better. So I agree. This is a traditional prescription error. Tariq, did you have a thought on a motion?
Yeah, I mean, this I will dismiss the permit holder and 3 hours of CEs. Any around patient safety, error prevention, none
Or
on technician and pharmacist.
do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I am recused from 4R. Tariq,
4R 250501. Prescription was dispensed with incorrect quantity.
I mean,
Any
this is it's clearly an error. It's a dispensing error. At first, I think this could have been perhaps
Yes.
addressed maybe differently, maybe more timely, with the investigation of and identifying the overage. But it's a clear error. So I would, and the technician wasn't involved in dispensing. I would recommend dismissing the permit holder, non-disciplinary CE for the pharmacist and the technician for error prevention.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I second. Okay, Frank, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
thank you, Tariq. Item 4S, complaint 25-0422. A pharmacy may have shipped products into Arizona before having the proper permit.
Just I have a question for Mr. Jacobson. So during the process, did the board assign a permit number on 127? You know, like I was looking at the timeline on 127 when they paid, right? That's the day they.
So I'm sorry, was the question?
When we assign a permit number to applicant.
So I believe permit numbers are assigned pretty early along in the application process. Certainly by the time it gets to permit review, there's a permit number assigned to it.
And would they be aware of this permit number, or we don't give it to them until we finish the process? Do you know?
I believe they would be aware of it.
Okay.
And maybe somebody from licensing.
I can
Good.
jump in. I know the answer to that one. This is Steve Hyberg. In the beginning, in the first early stages, the permit name only shows up on there. I don't even think that's visible yet because it doesn't have a number assigned. But as soon as it gets to a point where it's assigned a permit number, it is visible. But also both to us as well as the outside facing portal, it says pending approval, board approval or pending approval. And it isn't until it's, Max can take it from here, open, that it's, it's not a valid permit yet in order to receive product from a wholesaler or to bring drug into the pharmacy.
Thank
But
you
in
very-
this case, that happened on 2/7, correct?
Correct. Yes, the permit was issued on 2/7. What happened in this case, it appears that the pharmacy applied for a permit with us. And at some point, they applied for a second permit with us. And when they got the receipt for paying for that second permit, they used that as the go-ahead to start shipping into Arizona. So it wasn't until several days later that the permit was actually approved. So they did start shipping early.
And I know that we've had a lot of these issues with the same organization, and there have been a number of permit numbers.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, Madam Chair, but this is a different pharmacy. This is Stryker, STRIKER.
Oh,
no association.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
No association with the other company.
Okay, that is good. Thank you. I was like,
Right. I wanted to make sure that was known. Yes.
Thank you for that clarification. That makes me feel better.
Madam Chair, if I can add also, the reason we put permit number after the designation like pending approval or some notation of such is so that they can start, if it's in the state, they can start registering for DA registration and get their ducks in a row, payments and all that stuff, insurances. So it's to accommodate the applicant's needs more than anything, so they can get the ball rolling earlier, sooner than later.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gandhi. So what I'm thinking, there is 12 items involved. Usually we fine $100, right, per item. Non-disciplinary, that would do like non-disciplinary fine. 12 times 100, which is $1,200. Or usually we give authority to our staff to negotiate disciplinary. That's what we do. So, and this is my.
I would agree with that.
So I move. Yeah.
We have a second for that.
Yeah. So you know my motion. Okay, great.
I'll second.
So either a non-disciplinary agreement at $100 per item for a total of $1,200, or allow the director to negotiate a disciplinary settlement for a lower amount.
Correct. So
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4T, complaint 25-0153, a licensee failed to report charges within 10 working days.
And I'm recused.
Thoughts on this one?
Yeah. It is our standard right to $150 fail to report, and this is my motion. $250 fine.
I'm supportive of that, although I would also like to point out that it doesn't look like she still complied with the full request for information from the staff.
I didn't catch that. What is?
But I'm supportive of the $250 fine. Did you have an alternative thought? Or are you still good with that, Tariq?
I mean, I'm good with that unless like Mrs. Mitchell has any information to give us or anything to add, like deviate this from a norm case.
No, I have nothing to add. He's not been in communication at all since my last email to him.
No communication.
No.
Yeah, I believe I'll leave this motion and there's no communication, it will come back to us, right? So I move to $250 fine for report.
Non-disciplinary.
At this time, yes, non-disciplinary.
Second.
The motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4U, complaint 25-0068. The complainant provided a written request for the full board to review the executive director's decision. As he disagrees that there was no violation of the Pharmacy Practice Act, the complainant alleged that the pharmacist substituted their judgment for that of the doctor, and that he was not qualified to prescribe these medications. Thoughts on this one?
I mean, I can see why the pharmacist had additional questions and needed clarification, reached out to the prescriber, their new patient to the pharmacy, didn't have information on the patient. I mean, for me, I don't know that I see a violation.
I agree with you. I mean, I think the pharmacist was trying to act with corresponding responsibility.
Correct.
And sometimes that means not filling a prescription.
Correct.
I also concur dismissal is in order.
Agree.
Do I have a motion?
I make that my motion.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Sorry, Madam
Everybody
Chair, what was the motion there?
dismiss, uphold the dismissal.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Everybody doing okay, or does anybody need a bio break? It looks like we've got about, maybe 10 left. All right, we'll
I'm
keep
okay.
going. 4V, complaint 25-0599. The complainant alleged that the pharmacy did not dispense the remaining portion of their C2 opioid medication. Thoughts on this one?
So I believe the violation here or the error is with the typing error. It is more than giving partial or not partial because there is a rules here that has to be within 72 hours. So I just treat this one as a medication error. That's what I look at it.
I agree with you. I think that the dispensing error further caused the inventory issues, but I think it's more of a dispensing error than the quantity error. So thoughts on a motion on this one?
So my motion would be dismiss permit holder and 3 hours of continuous education regarding patient safety or error prevention for pharmacist and a technician and non-disciplinary. See.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4W, complaint 25-0476. Respondent ship prescription devices without a permit.
I'm trying to read my notes here.
This one, there was a lot of items.
Yeah. I don't know if conference will assist or help or just go with the what normally like ask our staff to negotiate.
That's where I was going as the second. But open to other thoughts.
Are there, just a question, Madam Chair. Mr.
Yes.
Nassif, are there questions that you have for the conference, or is it just?
No, I don't think that conference will help because we can
Okay.
conference and the result will be the same because they ship without a permit.
And we have all the records, so I don't know that I think a conference is necessary.
Yeah.
So my motion is to allow our board staff to negotiate disciplinary action for this LNC. Or if they're willing to pay the full fine, will be non-disciplinary.
A second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Item 4X, complaint 25-0565. The complainant, the patient alleged that the pharmacy dispensed the incorrect medication. Ram, I had a question on this one. I thought that this organization changed their policies and procedures and they were now taking pictures of the vial. Because it looks like this was a bagging error. Was that not done or was that just not included in the packet?
Madam Chair, they took pictures of the capsules. That's what they sent us, but they have timeline on these medications when they were filled. Looks like they were filled few minutes apart, and they initially claimed that the technicians swapped the bottles between the two bags. But they did send the pictures of the medication, clindamycin and amoxicillin. I will tell you 1364. 1764 is the page number.
1764.
Yes.
I think it's different than that now.
Let me see. 1766 is 6 is clindamycin, and then I have a amoxicillin picture as well. I'm scrolling through right now. That is 1780
1780.
is the amoxicillin picture.
So Ram, the error took place in the packaging process, right?
Yeah, that's what the high likely chance of the error happened during the bagging.
And the pharmacist, is the pharmacist involved in this process or technicians?
Technician is the one who is involved in the process, and the pharmacist is ultimately responsible for correct medication reaching the correct patient. That was the reason why I put the pharmacist as a respondent. And the issue here is they should have collected the patient's phone number. By our rules, the patient's phone number needs to be updated into the patient profile. That they did not do that, and they did not call the a patient who allegedly picked up clindamycin instead of amoxicillin. And they did the call more than a month later after I prompted them to do, just to verify with the prescriber whether usage of clindamycin in place of amoxicillin was okay, and whether the patient suffered any consequences of using clindamycin, for example, CD for whatnot. So they called the patient a month later. Patient's caregiver didn't know what the patient took, didn't remember the description of the capsules, but did inform the pharmacist that the bottle stated it's amoxicillin, not clindamycin. But it's not for sure because there is no evidence of the bottle. They threw the bottle away. That's what happened. But CVS from the beginning, they said that it is a bagging error because both prescriptions were filled side by side approximately at the same time.
But I thought they changed their process a little while back after we had a few cases with them that they were taking a picture of the label now in addition to the
That's correct.
of the
Yeah.
product. So
That's
did they
correct.
so did they have the copy of the label? Because that's how the pharmacist would have validated that the right bottle was with the right tablets or
I have the
capsules.
picture of the amoxicillin, the picture numbers, page number 1778.
1764.
1778 is amoxicillin bottle with the neoprene blue gloves. I see
Was
that.
was that with the product review images or was that after the fact?
They sent me these. I'm assuming that they are part of the product review.
Okay.
When I asked them for the images, they sent me these from
They
the
sent
C.
you that one and the one of the clindamycin with the other prescription. So they appeared correct to the pharmacist as what it's looking
Yes.
like, but the
Yeah,
technician somehow still inadvertently switched them after they took the pictures.
You are correct, Madam President.
So I don't think the pharmacist could have known that there was an error here. Really.
You are correct.
That's what I'm thinking. So to me, it's like a bagging error. It's because of a technician,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what I'm thinking to dismiss payment holder and a pharmacist and 3 hours of continuous education for a technician, non-secure. That's what I'm thinking.
I would support that.
And this is because I cannot see a pharmacist can get it, you know what I mean? Like unless
Yeah, and the technician just didn't follow the procedure and the pharmacy changed their procedures to address our prior concerns. So I agree with you. I would second your motion if that's your motion.
this is my motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next one is for why I am recused from this one. Tariq, if you can take over, please.
All right, so it's 4Y, complaint 25-0438. A patient received oxycodone 5 milligram tablets mixed with her methylphenidate 20 milligram order. It's, I mean, to me, there's a mix tablets. I mean, the patient is not on both medication. Is that right, Mr. Haber? The patient is not on those 2 medications. He's only on methylphenidate.
Steve Hyber, Tariq, thank you. Yeah, we pulled a PMP report in order to check on one of the responses, I believe, about the patient possibly had been on that medication before. And we were unable to find any record in the PMP that patient had ever received the medication that they allegedly received incorrectly from the pharmacy.
Okay.
So there was images provided by the patient allegedly of the drug that was mixed in with the correct drug. And we have those. They're down on 1862 and 1865. I'm sorry, 1865. And we have no prior history of the incorrect drug. And we did an audit too. I did an actual field audit of the two medications that one was the correct medication and one was the medication that was incorrectly received. And the results of the audit that I performed indicated an overage on the correct medication and a negative variance on the incorrect medication received. So that would seem to imply that
That's error.
the incorrect medication was dispensed in lieu of the correct medication, and therefore you'd have a variance situation like that. And that's basically it, the images and the variances that I found. There is a strange statement in one of the responses that indicated that I said everything was okay for the audit, but I think if I remember my visit that day, they were, I said that the counts matched the counts in their computer. And the reason I do that is simply their counts. If I was off on my closing count in order to do the audit, if I was off substantially, that might indicate that I missed something, it might be on another shelf somewhere. So, but I was not that was no indication of the actual results of the audit that we do, because we still wait for sales history and other things coming from corporate, because this particular chain doesn't provide that information at store level. So that if anybody sees that and has any questions about that statement, that's probably the reason behind it.
Okay.
And so the controlled substance audit that you did, Steve, was the first time that that type of investigation occurred to determine if there was an overage or a shortage.
That is correct. I mean, I did that audit. Let's see. The complaint was assigned to me on 8/6, and I did that audit on 8/18. So 12 days later.
And it indicated in I think the pharmacist response that they were still investigating it and were awaiting records from corporate.
Well, they're probably referring to the large variance I found to the negative on the oxycodone 5. Yes. And I don't recollect receiving anything in that regard. I'd have to go back and look. But again, that's a separate issue. If we find we uncovered another issue, we'd have to open a separate complaint, if there's a large magnitude there.
So there's a large variance on oxycodone, right?
There was on that audit, yes.
But,
yeah. Again, I didn't incorporate that into the complaint. That would be a separate one if we choose to go down that road.
But there's an overage on methylphenidate to support.
Yes. Overage on methylphenidate 20, negative variance on oxy 5, correct.
And to my understanding that both responded like decline. They didn't admit to this error, right? They said.
I think they based that statement on the fact that their own audit, whatever that may have been, and was showed no variance. But again, if I'm thinking, what I observe in my my expertise here, doing 15 years of this, they're talking about counts matching the computer, and obviously that's a different type of audit than what we do. We do an actual reconciliation. We take the last inventory beginnings as our beginning point. We look at all the purchases between that point of time and the point that we do the actual final closing count when we're physically in the store. And then we run the report of what they dispense for that same time frame.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was a question that I had is your investigation indicates that there was a misfill, but I don't know that we've really heard from the pharmacists in response that there indeed was a confirmed error and how that was handled.
Well, no, at this point, they've been given an opportunity to respond to the complainant's allegations. what we find, we present to the board. The board, if they have any questions, they can certainly call a conference. But we don't normally turn that into a back and forth thing, based upon
Right.
our
Right.
investigation. We kind of move forward. They've had their opportunity, they've had their shot, and then we present it to the board. And then if the board has any questions, they can always call a conference.
So Mrs. Parlock, to me, there's an error. I mean, I cannot imagine the patient will grab oxycodone 5 milligram from some and just take a picture of it. I mean, I don't know if that ever happened, but the only evidence what we have here is the patient's image that he shared with us, right? And I believe this is strong evidence, and our compliance officers count, right, that support this error.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I see it as error, and then I would treat it as an error unless you think, or Frank would think that conference will help here. I don't know.
I thought about a conference earlier. I'm not sure whether it'll help or not.
Yeah, I don't know either that. I mean, I do agree, Tarek. I think that there's clear evidence of an error.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Error prevention.
I mean, I will move to dismiss permit holder and treat this one as an error. To me, is a strong evidence. I mean, the count, the pictures the patient sent, that will really support I mean, I feel very confident to move for 3 hours non-disciplinary CEs for both pharmacists and I believe the technician, right? Yeah, non-disciplinary and permit holder.
That's your motion.
Yeah, that's my motion. Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right. Thank you. Motion carries.
Item 4Z, complaint 25-0489.
I am recused.
Okay. The pharmacy dispensed an incorrect medication to the wrong patient, resulting in patient harm and a potential HIPAA violation. This one was interesting to me just to kick off discussion because neither the pharmacist nor the technician are licensed anymore by our board. Because this looks like it happened so long ago, even though we were just made aware of it.
Yeah, I agree, but I have a question for our staff. It's more than 4 years. I believe there's a limitation of 4 years to look into any complaint. Is that right? Is it 4 years?
There is a statute of limitations and it is 4 years unless has to do with a response in an application question or some sort of offense involving drugs or sexual misconduct.
Okay, so it's not to medication error or complaints.
Yeah, if that's outside of the 4 years, just a filling or dispensing error would be barred by the 4-year statute of limitations.
Okay. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, to your point, I believe none of those pharmacists or technicians listed here, they're not in our state, they're not licensed. And to me, is dismiss this case from my end, I would see is more appropriate to dismiss.
I agree, because I don't think there was anything that the permit holder could have done. I mean, it's a very unfortunate event and it's horrible that somebody was harmed by it, but it was an employee error and neither of those people hold a license with us anymore anyway.
Right.
And apparently it's barred by the statute of limitations.
Exactly. So all the way around. So I'm in support of dismissal.
Yeah, this is my motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4AA. This is the first time we've been in double letters in a while, guys. Complaint 25-0612. Full service wholesaler failed to notify the board of their change in designated representative and failed to appoint a new designated representative. Thoughts on this one?
It looks like to me, just based on the response, that they had somebody designated immediately or almost immediately, but just failed to notify the board. Is that basically, am I understanding that correctly? That's how I read that. What
Yeah,
have,
that's
what have we
yes.
done?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Typically done non-disciplinary fine for late notification, $250, I believe, in the past.
I've been talking to myself for a couple of minutes. All right. So
Go ahead, Tariq.
yeah, I believe $250 is appropriate, right? So, and this is my motion.
Non-disciplinary fine.
That's very fine.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 4AB, complaint 25-0614. A prescription was dispensed with an incorrect strength. Thoughts on this one? Tariq, you're on mute.
I should not mute myself anymore. All right. So I see, no, I mean, it's a human error. I mean, I know the medication is kind of like high alert medications, but still the same error that caused by human. So I move to, I don't know if you have any comments before I make motion there.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I move to dismiss permit holder and I go with 3 hours of continuous education, non-disciplinary, for pharmacists, for both pharmacists, actually, and error prevention or patient safety.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Tariq, I'll give it back to you. I'm recused from the next two.
All right. So we have 4AC, right? Case 25-0329. Prescription was dispensed with the wrong patient information. Any discussion here? I mean, to me, it's the error here. There's the evidence, and unless
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree. Yeah, no, I agree that it was an error and it was a
So-
labeling. It originated with that.
yeah. So, any thoughts on this? So usually we dismiss permit holder and we ask 3 hours of non-disciplinary CEs for both, for the technician trainee and the pharmacist. And
I agree.
yeah. So you make a motion, or you want me to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we dismiss the permit holder and 3 hours of non-disciplinary CE in error prevention and patient safety to the pharmacist and the technician trainee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
no oppose, motion carry. And I believe the second case also on me. Okay, it's 4AD 25-0548. Customer was sold another customer's prescription from the drive-through window. So, Mr. Wagner, I don't see the pharmacist is involved here. Is that correct? I'm just asking our.
Good afternoon. The pharmacist wasn't involved in the process. The entire transaction occurred at the drive-through window.
So he wasn't, right? Like the error caused by a technician?
Yes, it was all at the drive-through window, just with the transaction only involved the technician.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any thoughts or motion on this?
Air training.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the error caused by a technician, neither permit holder nor pharmacist has anything to do with it.
No, just the training.
For the technician. I agree. So I can make a motion, or anyone else wants to?
Dismiss the pharmacy, and the pharmacist and the permit holder, and what's the standard for
3 hours of continuous education on error prevention or patient safety, non-disciplinary.
3 hours on error prevention and
In
patient
addition
safety.
to okay, we have a motion. Second, you have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
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 No opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Brings us to 4E, complaint 25-0508. The complainant alleges that the pharmacy failed to comply with the Arizona immunization vaccine reporting requirements and engaged in improper billing practices related to the administration of vaccines.
I see like the system glitch, what I mean, like IT, correct? That's what I see. Now I totally see the importance of patients get their record. But at this point, I don't know if anything can be done. So my understanding, the technician or the pharmacy staff offer the patient to give them the information, and the pharmacist will sign off on this information.
I mean, it seemed to me like it was really a knowledge issue with their technology, and the staff didn't know how to resolve the issue, and they tried to provide a solution to the patient, but it wasn't the solution that the patient wanted.
Correct.
That's how I read that. There's likely a procedure that they could follow to make sure that they get the information to the patient, which is extremely important, and also reported to the registry. It didn't appear to me that they knew how to resolve that. So,
but they resolved it once they knew how.
They did. Correct. They did. Yeah. So I'm not sure what we really could do here.
Appears they needed some more training to run it properly.
And it's not even, I don't even think it's pharmacy practice. It's like it's not to do with our laws or regulations. I just think they didn't know how to resolve the situation in their computer system. So I don't know that I think that there's anything personally we need to do with this. I don't know. There wasn't an error here. It was really just the way that, like, how long it took them to resolve the issue for the patient is the way that I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be open to a dismissal.
I agree.
I make that my
Right.
motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4AF. Complaint 20.
I said aye, correct, guys? I didn't say
Yeah.
nay. Aye. Okay.
Yep, I got you. 4AF complaint 250608. The complainant alleged that the pharmacist declined to fill his prescription for a syringe and needle. Thoughts on this one?
I was looking to
I mean,
dismiss, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, the doctor sent 2 different sizes of syringes. I know how much it can be complicated for pharmacy staff to navigate this. You know what I mean? You want to do the best for your patients, to the best of pharmacist knowledge, right? Now, from the pharmacy staff respond, they say that they discuss this with the patient and they say, okay, we give you 18 gauges, you pay for it, and there's agreement, I believe, and then the complaint after. I'm not underestimating the complaint at all, but I can see this discussions that take place every day in the pharmacy world, right? So
I agree
and I
with
think
you. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And on top of it, there was an insurance coverage date supply, and that could have been potentially another path for resolution to look at that and what that maybe adjudication rejection was saying. But I don't see that there's really an error here. So
more
I would,
customer service than medication. Yeah, that's how I see it.
yeah.
So I'm sorry, did you have a motion?
Yeah, I move to
Three.
this.
And
Yeah,
Stephanie, did you second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 4AG complaint 25-0473. And my computer's going slow now. The complainant filed a complaint last year, December 2024, alleging that his ex-wife and pharmacist in charge at a Safeway store committed unethical and fraudulent acts of diversion, HIPAA violations of use and illegal distribution of drugs. The evidence was unsubstantiated and therefore dismissed by the executive director. The complainant then filed a second complaint on the same allegations, but with more information and evidence, which opened a new case for investigation.
Yeah. This is Galvin, does this fall under 4 years limitation as well? Because they're talking about more than 4 years. That's how I'm looking at this. I believe this past 4 years. All of those evidences.
Looking at it now, Mr. Nassif.
Yeah.
Regardless, Ms. Cheng, you investigated this. Did you find any of the claims were substantiated?
Yes, this is Nancy Chang. I investigated this case. This was the event occurred around 2020 and 2021. We were not able to, the allegation for the diversion allegation, it was not substantiated because I did a spot audit, a field audit, and the audit numbers were able to reconcile with very negligible variances. However, the evidence that brought to this case that I want to bring to the board for consideration is that his allegation of the Adderall 10 milligram prescription, an image of another patient's prescription that was found at the home of the complainant's home while they were living together. So the question as to how does this Adderall 10 milligram prescription from another patient was found at the complainant's home. And so that's the questions that is brought in front of you for consideration.
So, but not when you say prescription is the monograph, right? Or the leaflet, not the tablet, correct? Is the image?
The image of the prescription is the Adderall 10 milligram prescription.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Let me double check. It was tablet or capsule. I didn't look at the form.
Yeah, I can't see all what I saw, like monograph, or I cannot recall that I saw any image for tablets or capsules.
Yeah. However, still, whether or not it's the form tablet or capsule, the prescription was found at the complainant's home, who's of another patient's prescription. And that is on page, the prescription, an image of the prescription is on, sorry, 224. It is a bit small, so it's a bit hard to see, but it is 2244. And
Yeah,
this prescription was also, I just wanted to add that this prescription was actually filled at the store that the pharmacist, who is also the ex-wife of the complainant at the time, worked at. And this was filled on August 20, 2020.
Okay. So I can see a vial with the tablets not labeled, unlabeled vial, and there is an image of prescription image.
Yeah, and that prescription has a different patient's name, has it's for Adderall 10 milligram, whereas the vial that he claimed that was diverted, that his ex-wife diverted from the store, which we don't have any evidence to substantiate that, but that the orange pill in that vial is for Adderall 15 milligram and not 10. So it's different from the image, the prescription image that you see on the right.
But there's no way to know that she diverted those medications or that it was another patient's medication because it wasn't in a vial with somebody else's name.
Correct. The only thing that we can substantiate is that he found a patient's prescription in his house.
We cannot have evidence that she brought it home or somewhere found. I mean, I'm not trying to accuse anyone here, but
that's where I was trying to go to, Tariq. How do we know it was in the home?
In the home,
we didn't find it there. Somebody else is saying it's there. That's
correct.
Still hearsay.
And what are we talking about? The actual prescription, like tablets, medication? Or we're talking about images of it and then an image of the hard copy?
We're talking about the RX image that provided to us. So we don't know if that's, I mean, she wrote there and we know that this prescription was filled at Safeway. I mean, most likely she brought it home. We don't know by mistake, or I don't know why she didn't bring it with her home. You know what I mean? Left it in her pocket when she came home. I'm not saying this okay, but I cannot tie the prescription to the vial. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if that's the 4 years still there.
Yeah, and where are we at on the statute of the time frame of the complaint anyway?
Complaint came in within the 4 years, and I think statutorily it says if the complaint was filed within 4 years, the board can still move forward with it. Also, just as a side note, the statute it's not against the permit holder. So permit holders, you can still file a complaint whenever. The statute applies to licensees, but again, this was filed within the 4-year time limit.
Okay. So, and there is the accusation in the complaint. I believe it's other accusation. It's not under Board of Pharmacy scope, like whatever the complaint say. I believe this is more appropriate for different, like Attorney General office, whatever accusation made there. Me, really, personally, I cannot make decision on this. I cannot determine whether or not the pharmacist involved in diversion.
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of he said, she said, and the evidence that we do have didn't come from a pharmacy. So it makes me hesitant to take action on something that we really have no idea where it came from.
That's my same concern.
Agreed.
Agree.
Dismiss.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Dr. Gandhi, I think that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. We will regroup as a team, and if there's anything that stands out, we'll definitely call it out during the board meeting. But you're right, this was a long one, so a challenging
Yes.
thing next week. So it's gonna be
A
nice way to
lot of
wrap up
reading.
the year. Yeah.
A lot of reading for this one. Appreciate everybody's time. We will adjourn for the day and we'll see y'all next week.